Ghouls and Gals, anyone returning to my channel. And also, if you're new here, hey, my name is Hillary, and tonight we are going to be covering the eerie and spooky story of the Gibraltar Lighthouse on the Toronto Islands. Now, this is a story that us kids growing up in Toronto would hear whispering about. You'd hear it at school, and you'd always kind of wonder what it was. So I thought, why don't I just check it out now and tell it to everybody else? So here we go. Built in 1808, the Gibraltar Lighthouse is the oldest lighthouse currently standing on the Great Lakes. It used to guide ships in and out of the harbor in Toronto, but currently it no longer is in use. In the 1950s, the Gibraltar Lighthouse was actually decommissioned and given as a gift to the city of Toronto to be used as a historical property, basically. Legend has it that on a cold night in 1815, the lighthouse keeper, Radan Mueller, I think it was Mueller, tell me if I'm butchering it, he was of German descent, I think, was murdered. As the story goes, there was a group of soldiers that were drinking some of Radan's homemade beer. And as they started to get louder and more rowdy during the night, the lighthouse keeper decided to cut them off. In doing so, it resulted in a fight breaking out, and that was the last time that anyone saw Radan Mueller alive. It's said that the soldiers struck him in the head, and when they realized that he was dead, that Radan Mueller was dead, they decided to get rid of the evidence. Now, this is all during the War of 1812, which Radan Mueller never saw the end of, according to local history. Now, the soldiers who hit the lighthouse keeper in the head decided they tried their best to cover this up. So they ended up dismembering Radan and digging holes, I guess, around the Toronto Island and just burying pieces of the lighthouse keeper. Or the story goes anyway. Now, the body of Radan Mueller was never found, and although this was published in the York Gazette in 1815, none of the soldiers who dismembered and buried pieces of the poor lighthouse keeper ever faced any justice for the crime that they had committed. To this day, there are reports of mysterious lights shining in the lighthouse, a stain that isn't able to come off of, I guess, the floor in the lighthouse, and also a shadowy figure that tends to glide across the sand in the moonlight, which many locals believe that this is the spirit of this poor guy that just wanted to sell some beer to some soldiers and pretty much paid for it. It's been about 203 years since Radan's disappearance at the lighthouse, but something tells me that his spirit may still linger around at the Gibraltar Lighthouse on the Toronto Islands. Now, I've lived in Toronto my entire life when I was growing up, and I have actually never been to the Gibraltar Lighthouse, but I think maybe it's time to visit. And if you guys just happen to be there or go, maybe check it out. Feel free to tell me if leave a comment, any spooky stories that you've heard about it, or if you've seen anything. I would love to hear it. You could email me any of your stories if you want them featured, and I would be glad to share them. So thanks for watching, and if you like what you saw, feel free to like or subscribe, or even just leave a comment. I'd like to hear any of your guys' stories, or even if you just thought this video was okay. It's my third one, so hopefully I'm improving. I must be if you're here watching it again. So see you guys next time. Thanks.